So let's now say a few words about the mundane effect of Saturn transits. So how do they influence the whole world? During the 20th century, Saturn was in Capricorn from the year 1929, and then from the year 1961, and then from the 1988, and so on. So in each of those transits, he stayed in the sign of Capricorn 2.5 or 3 years. So you can maybe analyze yourself what was happening in those years, but I'll tell you shortly which were the effects. For example, at the end of the 80s and beginning of 90s, the whole program of the breakup of Yugoslavia, Soviet Union, and Czechoslovakia was already arranged. I'm saying arranged because it was arranged by the higher power, not because of the people who were living there. And in the same time, people in power were actively forming another unions, and one of them was European Union. I'm not going to comment here which of the unions were good or bad. It is enough to say those facts. So what can we say about contemporary transit of Saturn on the mundane level? When we analyze the transit in the past and we analyze the contemporary political and economical situation in the world, and we add to that some knowledge that we have about the nature of Saturn transits, it is quite easy to say that we are going to go through the period of big disintegrations and changes, and at the same time we are going to go through the process of building new structures that will have to be very strong so that the whole world could rely on them. Some alliances and unions will collapse and some other will be formed in the next 3 years. It is also possible that in this period people will come up with the idea how to create new unions, and the realization would come later in the years to come, but perhaps even in those 3 years. So it is also very significant that historical science will flourish, and people will perceive the history in a new way according to new breakthrough researches that already started actually. Many governments will collapse, but it is even more interesting that constellations in Capricorn signify that a new world power will emerge. So changes are not going to be local, they will be global. Speaking about Saturn, we should mention the 14 to 15 year cycle. So in the years 2003 to 2005, Saturn was in Cancer, and now we see the result of this cycle. So think of that about yourself through your life. What was built or arranged in those years and which effect it has on you. The same will be on the mundane level. We will have the effect of that what we built as a collective. So think, did you start something in that time and can you make it stronger now? Or you see that is not worth holding on it. In political sphere, I said it's going to be the similar thing. Generally speaking, Saturn first weakens and later makes stronger the area where he transits. It's going to be a little bit different because now he's in his own sign, but there is also a possibility that things will develop in this way. Accordingly, one can expect that it is going to be harder to maintain his energy in the years 2018 and even more in the 2019, when it can be even destructive. The same applies on the world and on individual level. In the year 2020, we can generally expect stronger positive side of the transit, but that year is special not only because of Saturn, but because of other constellations as well.